Hi, welcome from Australia. My name is Chrissy and I'm going to be giving you a channel reading for the week of the 27th of December. Now, I just let my guides channel through and I get the messages to you. So if you've tapped on this video, there's definitely going to be a message in here for you to receive. Now, I'm just going to close my eyes and we'll just get started. Now, the word I'm getting is discord. So there's a lot of discord, and this is around the globe. It's almost showing me the drop. So there's like, it's almost showing me like a backyard that's terraced. So there's kind of the lower levels, the middle levels, and then you get the higher levels, and there's the sort of stable walls in between. They call it the retaining walls in between, and it's showing me these levels, and I really believe these levels are the society levels. So I feel like there's a lot of separation still going on this week. As much as we're coming together, I feel like this week is definitely a week of getting together, and people have been divided for so long. I still feel like there's going to be a lot of this terracing, this separation. So it's kind of like you're going to have people over here, then you're going to have sort of these people here that are kind of okay with mixing with these people and mixing with these people, but then you're going to have these people who won't mix with anybody, and then you've got these people down here who don't know sort of what they're doing, who are feeling a bit lost. So I still feel like this energy is about that. I feel like we're kind of not feeling strong. Like, it feels to me like there's a very, very distorted view of reality at the moment that's going on out there, and I really believe that people are starting to question and they're starting to wonder, well, just what is real? We're getting fed and bombarded with so much information now that we sort of don't know what's the truth, whether we're being lied to. People don't know. People aren't very clear, and this is why we've still got these sort of terracing effects of society where there's a lot of confusion. We're not all on that same playing field anymore. There's a lot of different sort of groups of people. There's minority groups, there's majority groups, and I feel like this is still going on despite that we're getting together, and this is a time of joy and happiness and trying to make those things happen. I still feel there's a lot of that confusion of, well, how do we manage this? Like, you know, they're talking, I noticed on the news not long ago, they were talking about all these super spreaders, and if you're going to mix with your grandparents, you've got to be very careful. And they're still putting out a lot of this fear messaging, and it's really unhealthy. I think going forward, it's very unhealthy to be putting that fear into people constantly. And I've said that before, that fear is an emotion that it can really be very draining. It creates a lot of anxiety. It causes angst and turmoil in the stomach, and these things start to churn over. You know, it affects everything in our body when we're in that kind of state. You want to be in that free, spirited state where you've got, you know, a clearer mind and your body's sort of opened up more and you're more relaxed. These are the things you need to look at doing on this week of the 27th of December. You need to really look at ways to just switch all that off and just stay in that relaxed, calm space. And you might need to really work on that, because we don't want to be staying in these separations and divides. It's dragging on even longer and longer. It was originally kind of them and us, and now it's like them, it's those people, and now it's these people, and it's like we're getting it's like even from the divisions now, we're getting subdivisions. So we're getting these people in society, and then these people are getting divided up more because of where they're from, and there's a lot of this going on, and people are really fighting for these freedoms, and they're fighting and trying so hard to come together, and that can be very draining. And I think that's where a lot of that confusion is actually coming in this week, is there's still a lot of this separation and divide, which I've talked about in my 2021 video. If you want to go and check out that prediction reading, I talk about that earthquake energy where it's the big split and things sort of crumble. Now, sometimes things crumble for reasons, and I really believe that what's happened. So in the week of the 29th, just try to stop your life. Try to get off that mouse wheel and try to do those things that are going to keep you in focus and able to enjoy your life. We don't want to be thinking about, but what if I sit in there Aunt Zelda and I make her sick? Or what if, you know, these are all what ifs. We don't want to be doing that. We want to be just enjoying our life, because life is here to be lived. It's very short, and we're on this planet for a very short time, and we want to enjoy it from woe to go. We don't want to be living in fear and misery and all this horrible feelings. That's got to stop now. So I feel like the message is that people are coming towards you. So you're going to find that people this week are going to start coming towards you, and you've got to know how to react to these things. Now, in the past 2 years, we've got into these habits of kind of being cautious and keeping people away, and we're not sure, oh, do I give them a hug? Do I not give them a hug? I feel like this week people will be really uncertain. Do I shake someone's hand? You know, it's something I've talked about in the last few weeks. How do I approach just being normal? You have to be your normal self. If you feel like you want to give someone a hug because you love and care about them, give them a hug. There's nothing wrong with connecting with people and spirits connecting and bringing yourself that joy as well, because that's how you uplift yourself. Sometimes we have to sort of, touch is very important. They always talk about that when babies are born or when they're sick, that they need that human touch. So people always have to keep touching them to keep them sort of healing. So that's what we've got to look at this too, as a week of healing. Embrace people, give them hugs, give them a kiss if you want to. You know, sometimes we're fed information and it's not always correct. If you look back in history at the AIDS epidemic, at the AIDS pandemic rather. Oh my God, I can't even speak today. Sometimes my words come through too quickly. If we look back at that, everyone was too scared to even touch each other. They thought it was going to transmit in people's blood. You couldn't kiss people. It was totally ridiculous, and they ended up figuring out that that is not how the everything was passed on, and it ended up just being a big mess basically, and that all of that ended up being totally untrue. So what if this ends up being totally untrue and you've missed out on giving someone a beautiful hug and connecting with that person? It just doesn't make logical sense, because in the long term, these things that we're being told, they may not be correct. Yes, they might be, but they may not be, because history has told us that in the past, that when people get ostracized and pushed away, sometimes that's not always the truth. So that's something to really be aware of this week, is to just really work at reconnecting with people, giving people a hug, embracing and enjoying people being in your space. I feel like there's a lot of turmoil around the car industry. I just keep getting there could be more job losses. I feel like technology is really taking over in the factories as well. I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of, I'm sure that's already happening out there in the car factories, manufacturing, but I really feel like a lot of these robots are going to be making everything, and that they're not going to need as many people working in the factories anymore. They're only going to really be looking at sort of maybe the office and administration side of things and the head managerial staff. But I feel that a lot of people on that sort of front line that are working in the actual sort of, what do you call it, the in the actual factories, I feel like they're going to start to really eliminate these, and this will be about cutting costs, because you think about it, sometimes these robot instruments and that are very, very productive financially. They're very financially sort of viable to be using these things, because they can produce a lot more than sort of a person standing there doing things. Is not as productive as these kind of, so everything these days we have to understand pretty much is about money and speed. So I feel like that definitely is something going into the new year. There might be a lot of job loss in these car industries, and I'm sure there's going to be price hikes as well when it comes to cars, so to cover their sort of costs of setting up these factories with these more robotic kind of industry. And that's definitely like a vision that I'm being given. That sort of, they're showing me the robot hands putting this together and putting that together, and definitely that push of moving people out of that sort of factory environment. I really feel that's going to happen. I'm getting the words feeling mutual. So I feel like it's like they're showing me we have like two bodies. We have like our logical and physical body, but we also have our like mental and spiritual body. So they're kind of showing me like the body is actually divided into two, and it's saying you have these mutual thoughts and that they do sort of cross over, and it's kind of showing me that DNA structure where it kind of floats and crosses over in that sort of winding spiral. And it's saying that this is a really healthy way, like crossing over from our logical mind to our feeling space to our physical space back into our sort of spiritual vibration, I guess, and energy is probably how I would put that, is a good thing. So this is where it's saying that, you know, you have that split down your body, but there's nothing wrong with the sort of crossing over. The crossing over is very healthy, because this is what a lot of these things have been teaching us in the past sort of 2 years, despite how stressful it's been. It's also got us, it's almost showing me like a pole running right through your body and up sort of out of your head, that you're quite stable, and it's like almost spinning, but it's in your stability of these things crossing over that it gives you that midline. So it's showing me like the midline really gives you strength. So don't always separate like your logical thoughts from your emotional thoughts, because sometimes they do cross over. And I feel like this week that's kind of what the message is, and what they're actually saying to you is, again, getting back to that, you know, think with your logic and your spiritual and bring them all together. And that's what makes you really stable on the week of the 27th, is to just bring all that into alignment. And again, that's about that giving people hugs and starting to turn things around. We've all been pushed away from people for long enough, and not all unsure about the rules and what we're supposed to do, and should we wear a mask, and that's been really hard to navigate. But now you've got to sort of listen to your gut feelings, listen to what your mind's telling you. Sometimes we get given messages and we're not sure if that's our ego mind talking or what's kind of happening there. Listen to those little voices that you might be getting in your head, like, oh, that person really needs a hug, I'm going to go over and hug them, or I'm going to go and sit with Uncle John over there, looks a little bit sad, you know, he might have lost his wife. Go and sit with them and have a chat and let people start to talk things out. So if you're hearing these things, go and act on them. Don't just ignore things and messages that you might be receiving either, because that's also your own guidance and intuition this week that's going to be leading you to also open up and learn to, it's almost like we've got to reconnect and recommunicate with people as well, because I think that's what's happened too in the last couple of years. We've lost that art of sort of communicating, and it's that reconnecting and that rebirthing, like I've said before, that's very important in this week of sort of Christmas into the new year. Look, hopefully this helps you this week going into Christmas. I'm wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas. You know, let's hope that 2022 is going to be a little brighter, and the new year is coming. I've got my 2022 videos already uploaded, my global ones, and I do weekly and monthly readings as well. I also have self-help readings on YouTube if you want to go and check some of those out. I've got many subjects on depression, suicide, feeling lonely, how to change your life, tips and tricks on attraction and body language as well. So please go check them out. Subscribe to my channel if you want to get my regular prediction readings. Hit those like buttons because that helps me a lot, and have a wonderful, wonderful and safe Christmas. Take care. Go and give everyone a hug and a big kiss, because we've all missed everyone and we really need to reconnect. Bye.